Let's get right into it. Number 10. The algorithm knows you better than you do. Here's a fun nightmare. Imagine an invisible stalker who follows you around, watches everything you do, and then whispers, "I know what you want," before you even know it yourself. Creepy, right? Except it's not some trenchcoat stranger, it's the algorithm. Tech companies like to frame it as a personalized experience. Translation: the machine brain has studied your late-night doomscrolling, your oddly specific obsession with raccoon videos, and that one time you looked up how to cook an egg without a pan. The algorithm hoards that data like a dragon sitting on a pile of gold nuggets, except instead of shiny treasure, it's your browsing history and questionable taste in memes. Psychologists call this predictive modeling, which sounds sophisticated, but let's be honest, it's basically the internet tattling on you to itself. If you ever thought you were unpredictable, the data disagree. Your brain is basically a hamster on a wheel, and the algorithm is already waiting at the other end with a snack shaped exactly like your favorite vice. And here's the kicker. Studies show that these models can predict your choices with disturbing accuracy. Sometimes more accurately than your spouse, your mom, or even yourself. You think you're just browsing. Nope. You're a lab rat in an infinite maze of cheese, and the maze rearranges itself every time you twitch. So yeah, congratulations, your shadow self is a spreadsheet, and it probably knows you're going to buy socks in 3 weeks. Number 9. Doom scrolling is engineered. Picture this. You open your phone, just for a minute, and suddenly it's 3 a.m. and you've read 17 articles about why the world is ending, plus one about a crocodile that ate a lawnmower. What happened? Simple. The algorithm weaponized your caveman brain. See, humans evolved to notice danger. Back in the day, if you ignored bad news like, "Hey, there's a lion in the bushes," you'd be a Darwin Award winner before Darwin even existed. Fast forward a few millennia, and your threat radar is still on, except now it's pinging every time your feed serves you headlines about pandemics, economic collapses, or angry geese. This is what psychologists call negativity bias. Your brain treats bad news like it's a flashing red button labeled, "Press me or die." The algorithm noticed this bias and thought, "Perfect, let's feed you endless disasters while sprinkling in a cat video to keep you from snapping." It's not random. The more you scroll, the more data the system gathers, and the better it gets at knowing which flavor of apocalypse you like best. Climate change, political drama, celebrity divorces, it's like a buffet of human despair. And you keep going back for seconds. The irony? You know it makes you miserable, but your brain's like, just one more dopamine hit of existential dread. Meanwhile, the algorithm doesn't care if you're spiraling. It's counting the ad revenue while you stare into the abyss. Number 8. Your free will is for sale. You like to think you make choices. Pepsi or Coke, Netflix or Hulu, left swipe or right swipe. But here's the terrifying truth. Most of your decisions are nudges carefully engineered by machine learning models that know which buttons to push. There's a whole field of psychology called choice architecture, which is a fancy way of saying how we arrange the menu so you'll pick the burger instead of the salad. Algorithms just took that principle, cranked it to 11, and put it in your pocket. Ever wonder why autoplay exists? Because if the screen gives you 5 seconds of silence, your brain might escape. Ever notice how recommendations aren't too far off from what you actually want, but just different enough to make you click? That's not luck. That's your brain being studied like a frog in a lab. And it works. One study found that algorithms can subtly shape political opinions, influence buying habits, and even alter mood. Imagine being manipulated by something you can't see, can't argue with, and can't block because it is the platform. Basically, your free will is now a premium feature you didn't subscribe to. So next time you think, "I feel like sushi tonight," ask yourself, do you feel like sushi, or did YouTube ads, TikTok videos, and that Instagram reel of someone aggressively chopping tuna convince you 12 hours ago? Number 7. The infinite casino in your pocket. Ever pull down your phone screen to refresh and feel a tiny spark of excitement, like you're about to hit the jackpot? Yeah, that's not an accident. That's your phone turning into a slot machine, and the algorithm is your friendly neighborhood casino dealer. Psychologists call this variable reward scheduling, and it's basically the same principle that keeps gamblers glued to one-armed bandits in Vegas. You don't get a reward every time, you get it sometimes. That unpredictability is what fries your dopamine system like bacon in a skillet. Maybe the next scroll will give you a hilarious meme. Maybe it'll be a depressing headline. Maybe it's just your aunt posting blurry photos of soup. You don't know. And that mystery keeps you hooked. The trick is, the algorithm knows exactly when you're about to give up, and then, bam, it dangles a piece of digital candy. Don't leave yet, champ. Here's a dog wearing sunglasses. And you stay. Because your brain, bless its little prehistoric heart, is powerless against a game it doesn't realize it's playing. And before you say, nah, I can stop whenever I want, remember, so did every gambler sitting at a slot machine at 3 a.m. before selling their shoes for tokens. Your attention span is the currency, and the house always wins. Number 6. Echo chambers of doom. Imagine if every time you opened your mouth, the universe just said, yes, you're absolutely right. Sounds comforting, right? Except when that echo chamber turns your casual opinion about pineapple on pizza into a full-blown manifesto. Algorithms love to serve you content that matches what you've already clicked on. Because agreement feels good. Your brain loves validation the way toddlers love sugar. The problem is, this turns the internet into a never-ending hall of mirrors, reflecting your own biases back at you until you think, wow, everyone must think exactly like me. Psychologists call this confirmation bias. And in the old days, it just meant you hung out with people who liked the same music. Now, it means you could end up radicalized because your YouTube autoplay went from funny flat earth memes to the government controls the moon in 4 videos flat. The irony? The algorithm doesn't even care about your beliefs. It's not picking sides. It's picking engagement. If screaming matches keep you glued to the screen, then congratulations, you just got seated in the front row of the internet's loudest shouting match. So yeah, your political awakening, your sudden obsession with crystals, or your rage at strangers online. All of that might just be the algorithm holding up a mirror and saying, dance for me. Number 5. Data is the new soul. Back in the day, people thought your soul was this mysterious essence that defined who you were. It's your data profile, your clicks, your likes, your search for how many chickens make a petting zoo. That's the digital you, and companies are trading it like baseball cards. Your data is so valuable that it's often called the new oil. But unlike oil, you don't even know when it's being drilled. Every swipe, every pause, every accidental click on a thirst trap, it all feeds the machine. And here's the terrifying part. This data ghost of you can outlive you. Your great-grandkids might not inherit your vinyl collection, but they'll inherit the ads still targeting your long-dead account for orthopedic shoes. The psychology here is wild. Humans are obsessed with identity, who we are, how we present ourselves. But online, your identity isn't crafted by your deepest thoughts. It's crafted by your late-night shopping sprees and that one time you binged 17 hours of llama videos. That's who you really are, at least according to the algorithm. So yeah, if souls exist, yours is probably trapped in a server farm in Nevada, waiting for someone in marketing to resurrect it. Number 4. The Death of Boredom. Remember boredom? That weird, uncomfortable feeling where your brain just sat there? Maybe you stared at the ceiling, maybe you doodled spirals in the margins of your homework, maybe you just sat outside and counted ants. Boredom was the spark for creativity, daydreams, and sometimes the realization that your ceiling fan really does look like a helicopter. Well, the algorithm killed boredom. Now, the second you feel even a whiff of empty brain space, you yank out your phone and boom, you're fed 30-second dopamine grenades until your prefrontal cortex looks like Swiss cheese. Psychologists will tell you that boredom is important because it's basically your brain's way of saying, hey, let's make something out of nothing. But thanks to infinite scroll, your brain never hits that point. Because the algorithm hates dead air. If you stop looking, you stop clicking. And if you stop clicking, it stops getting paid. So instead of wandering thoughts that might have birthed the next great novel, We get endless TikToks of people trying bizarre food hacks like deep-fried toothpaste. Humanity's collective imagination is being swapped out for a slot machine of instant distractions. And let's be honest, if Shakespeare had had TikTok, we'd probably have Romeo and Juliet Dance Challenge Edition. Number 3. Surveillance as entertainment. Here's a plot twist. You're not just being watched, you're watching yourself being watched, and you kind of like it. That's right, we've turned surveillance into entertainment. Every selfie, every what I eat in a day vlog, every GPS check-in at Starbucks is basically you saying, "Hey algorithm, validate me." Psychologists call this panopticon syndrome, which sounds like a transformer but is actually the idea that if you think you're always being watched, you'll behave differently. And the internet has taken that idea, slapped a ring light on it, and turned it into influencer culture. The algorithm thrives on this because the more you share, the more data it gets, and the more eyeballs it keeps glued to the screen. You're not just the consumer anymore, you're also the product, the advertiser, and the unpaid reality show star all at once. Here's the kicker. Half the time you're not even posting for people. You're posting for the algorithm. You want that sweet engagement hit, those little digital pats on the head. It's like training a dog, except you're the one doing the tricks and the algorithm is the one doling out treats. So yeah, congratulations. You live in a reality show where the cameras never turn off, the audience is invisible, and the producers are robots that only care about ad revenue. Keeping up with the Kardashians looks downright wholesome in comparison. Number 2. The algorithm's mood ring. Think about the last time you felt oddly grumpy after scrolling for too long. Or way too happy. Or inexplicably anxious about the future of shrimp farming in Madagascar. That wasn't random. That was your feed acting like a mood ring you never asked for. Algorithms aren't just showing you stuff, they're experimenting on your emotions. Back in 2014, Facebook literally ran a study where they tweaked users' feeds to see if they could make people sadder or happier. Spoiler alert, they could. And they didn't even ask permission first. Psychologically, this works because humans are emotional sponges. We absorb the vibes around us. If your feed is stuffed with rage-inducing hot takes, you get angry. If it's puppies and rainbows, you feel warm and fuzzy. The algorithm doesn't care which, it just cares which keeps you scrolling. The terrifying truth? You might think your emotions are your own, but they're partly outsourced to a bunch of servers running code written by someone who probably ate Hot Pockets for breakfast. Basically, you're the world's most advanced mood swing puppet, and the strings are made of Wi-Fi. Number 1. When the algorithm outlives us. Here's the ultimate horror story. The algorithm doesn't need you forever. It just needs your data. One day, you'll be gone, but the ghost of you will still be scrolling. Creepy? Oh, absolutely. Think about it. Your playlists, your shopping habits, your late-night searches for, "Why does my cat stare into the void?" All of that gets baked into your digital doppelganger. Companies already use predictive models to simulate behavior, and there's no rule saying they can't keep simulating you after you're 6 feet under. Imagine your great-grandkids asking Alexa about family history, and it says, "Well, your ancestors spent 3,218 hours watching people make tiny cakes for hamsters." Psychologists call this digital immortality, and while it sounds kind of cool, it's also unsettling. Instead of being remembered for your wisdom, your personality, or that one time you nailed a karaoke song, you're remembered by algorithms as the person who couldn't stop impulse buying novelty mugs. And don't forget, AI can already mimic voices, faces, even writing styles. Which means the line between you and you, but Robot Edition, is about as thin as your willpower when autoplay starts another episode. The terrifying truth? Your algorithmic ghost might outlive you, outlearn you, and keep being you long after you're gone. So yeah, in the end, maybe we are just puppets dancing for our algorithmic overlords. Except when we're gone, the strings don't even get cut. They just keep twitching. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.